Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Apara Karuna Sindhum Jnanadam Shanta Rupinam Shri Chandrasekhara Gurum Pranamami Udan Maham.
Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande GurorMandalam. With the abundant blessings of our Acharya Swamiji, we have been going through this program successfully. Vande GurorMandalam, enjoying the Adi Shankara Stotras, which are instilling bhakti in all of us. We are now into the Shivananda Lahari shlokas. We are in shloka number 35 today.
Namaskaram. Yogakshemadhurandharasya sakala shreyah pradodhyoginaha drishta drishtamato kritino bahyantara vyapinaha sarvajnasya dayakarasya bhavataha kim veditavyam maya shambho tvam paramantaranga iti me Chitte smaramyanvaham.
What he is saying here is, you are in the innermost chambers of my heart. You are always present. You know everything. So why should I come and tell you openly what I need? You know everything. This is the substance of this shloka. Yogakshema dhurandharasya sakala shreya pradodyogino. Now these are all adjectives of Parameshwara. Yogakshema dhurandharasya, one who is carrying the burden of Yogakshema of bhaktas. One who carries the burden of yoga and kshema. We have seen before, yoga is what we don't have. If we get it, that is called yoga. What we have already, if we are able to protect it, that is kshema. Both these are being looked after by Parameshwara in the case of bhaktas. Sakala Shreya Pradodyoginaha. Sakala Shreya Prada, giver of everything which is Shreyas. What is Shreyas we have seen before? Something which will make us advance on the spiritual path. That is Shreyas. Something which will help us enjoy comfort here, that is called Preyas, as opposed to Shreyas. So something which will take us forward in the spiritual path towards moksha, that is Shreyas. So that kind of Shreyas, every aspect of Shreyas is ready to give us. Brother Udyoginaha, he is keen on that. He is making efforts to give us that Shreyas. Drishta matopadesha kritinaha. Drishta adrishta mata upadesha kritinaha. Drishta is what we undergo in this world. Adrishta is what is going to happen to us after we leave this world. That is adrishta, unseen. Drishta is seen. This we are experiencing. If not today, we will see it tomorrow. So it is all coming under the category of seen. It's going to be experienced when you are holding this body. Adrishta, after you have left this body, what is going to happen to you? That is adrishta, unseen. Now, that is actually prayers and shreyas which we saw just now. Mata upadesha. Mata means the path. The path which will help you in making a success of this world as well as the other world. So that upadesha, that advice, he is giving us through various shastras, through various leelas, and through various rishis. So he says, Drishta matopadesha kritinaha. He is the giver of advice on the path which will help us in our advancement here as well as hereafter. Bhāhyāntara vyāpinaha. Bhāhya antara vyāpinaha. One who is pervading everything inside, one who is pervading everything outside. There is nothing like outside and inside for him. He is present everywhere. Inside the body, outside the body. Inside an object, outside an object. So there is nothing like inside and outside. Because this inside and outside are determined by what? By Sharira. By the limitations of body. Body of ourselves or body of material. Body has no meaning. Body is Jada. What is Chaitanya is one and the same everywhere present. So, Bhāhyāntara vyāpinaha sarvajñasya dayakarasya bhavataha. All this is our adjectives of bhavataha. O Parameshwara, yours. Sarvajñasya, you are omniscient. You know everything. There is no need for me to come and tell you because you know everything. Dayakarasya, you know, but will you show compassion? Yes, you are the very form of compassion. Bhavataha kim veditavyam maya. What should I tell you? What is there to be told by me to you? There is no need. Shambho tvam paramantaranga iti me chitte smaram yanvaham. O Shambho, O auspicious one, you are the occupant of the innermost chamber of my heart. Parama antaranga. Supreme occupant of the innermost chamber of my heart, Parama Antaranga. Iti me chitte anvaham smarami. Like this, I meditate on you in my mind every day, every time. You are the carrier of yoga and kshema for your devotees. You are keen on granting shreyas to everyone, all kinds of shreyas and all aspects of shreyas, and you are the one who gives advice to us, to the devotees, on the path to be taken. We get confused, isn't it, in this samsara? To release us from the confusion, he is the one who will do the marga darshana, that is drishta, drishta mata. The seen and the unseen, the here and the hereafter, what path to be taken for advancement in these areas. Bhāhya antara vyāpinaha, you are the one who is pervading everything inside as well as outside, all materials, all bodies. You are omniscient, you know everything. You are the very form of compassion. What is there to be told by me to you? You are auspiciousness incarnate. You are the occupant of the innermost chamber of my heart. Like this, I keep meditating on you every time. Now, in our daily Sandhya Vandana, there is a mantra at the close of Sandhya Vandana when we complete, we are getting up from our asana, we sprinkle water on the place where we did the chanting, and then we say this, Vishwani Deva Savitaha Duritani Parasuva Yad Bhadram Tan Na Asuva. Deva Savitaha, O Parameshwara, who is inside the Surya Mandala, Vishwani Duritani, all, Vishwani means all, everything, all difficulties, all sins, Parasuva, let them not come near me. Please drive away all sins, all difficulties, all miseries. Yad Bhadram Tanna Asuva, whichever is auspicious to us, Bhadram, whichever is auspicious to us, that you grant us, that you bring to us. This is the prayer. This is the most important. That is what he is telling here. Sakala Shreya Prada Udyoginaha. Yogakshema Dhurandharasya Sakala Shreya Prada Udyogino. Drishta Drishta Matopadesha Kritino Bhakyantara Vyapinaha. Sarvajñasya Dayakarasya Bhavataha Kim Veditavyam Maya. Tambhottam Paramantarangayati Me. Chitte Smaram Yanvaham.
भक्तो भक्तिगुणावृते मुदमृता पूर्णे प्रसन्ने मनः कुम्भे साम्ब तवाङ्घ्रिपल्लवयुगम् संस्थाप्य संवित्फलम् सत्वं मन्त्रमुदीरयन् निज शरीरागार शुद्धिं वहन् पुण्याहं प्रकटीकरोमि रुचिरं कल्याणमापादयन्.
Here he is drawing our attention to a ceremony called Punyaha Vachanam, which we do occasionally at our homes. When we have to purify our homes and ourselves, then we do Punyaha Vachanam. After the child is born, there is Ashaucham, there is Ashuddhi in our homes as well as in ourselves. So on the 11th day, we do this Punyaha Vachanam. Similarly, after Aparakriya, we do on the 13th day, Shubha Swikaram. There also Punyaha Vachanam is done. So, in fact, even on 11th day, Punyaha Vachanam is done because the Ashaucham is only for 10 days. There, in that case. So, Punyaha Vachanam is bringing up of auspiciousness, and it is called Punyaha Vachanam because Punyaham Vachayishye, that is what the Shastri tells us at the beginning. I shall read Punyaham, I shall tell you Punyaham. Punyaham means this is the day of Punya, this is the auspicious day. All inauspicious days are over. They were inauspicious because on those days you were not allowed to chant Veda, you were not allowed to go to your temple, all these restrictions were there. So to that extent they were inauspicious, nothing more than that. So, but now even those restrictions are gone, you are back to your normal self. So this is a Punya day, Punyaham. Vachana means speaking. Speaking that this is Punyaham, this is the day of Punya. So he chants Vedic mantras, Pavamana Suktam, etc. And he charges the water inside a pot with those Vedic mantras, with the power of those Vedic mantras, and then he sprinkles water on us as well as on the entire house. And before that he says 3 times, Punyaham, Punyaham, Punyaham. This is the day of Punya. So this is what happens during a Punyaha Vachanam. Now this Punyaha Vachanam he is taking here as an example for bringing Parameshwara into our minds. How he is telling us. Bhaktaha bhakti gunavrite mudamrita purne prasanne. Bhaktaha, a devotee, what does he do? Bhakti gunavrite, that kumbha in which water is kept. Manak kumbhe, manas is the kumbha here. The mind is the kumbha, the pot. That pot, outside the pot, there are threads which are being tied, you might have seen. Crisscross threads are going on. That is required for the mantra Shakti to go inside. So, Bhakti Guna Avrite. Guna means those threads. What threads are we are talking about here in the case of Manakkumbha? We are talking about Bhakti. Bhakti is the thread with which this Manakkumbha is tied. That means whatever we do, Bhakti will see that Parameshwara comes inside and like this thread sees that Veda mantra goes inside and does not go out. Similarly, this Bhakti will see that Parameshwara comes inside, Manakkumbha, and he will not leave us. Bhakti Guna Vrite. Bhakti Guna is the quality of Bhakti. It is surrounded by the quality of Bhakti, this Manakkumbha. And in the case of Kumbha, it is the thread of Bhakti. Mudamrita Purne Prasanne. Muda Amrita Apurne. This there is water inside the pot in the case of Punyaha Vachanam. Now in the case of Manakkumbha, there is no water, but there is Amrita. Ananda Amrita, Muda Amrita. The bliss, the nectar of bliss. Apurne, it is filled. This Manakkumbha is filled to the brim with the nectar of Amrita, with the nectar of Ananda. Prasanne, in the case of Kumbha, Prasanne means it is clean, shining. And in the case of Manakkumbha, it is pure, no impurity. So it is Prasanne Manakkumbhe. Very clean, very clear. Samba, ho, Shiva with Amba Samba Tavangri Pallava Yugam Samsthapya Samvitpalam Tava Angri Pallava Yugam. Now, if you see, after tying with the thread, after filling it with water, you put a few mango leaves on the top. These mango leaves, he is now talking about. Pallava is actually tender shoots, actually mango leaves. Tava Angri Pallava Yugam. The 2 feet of yours, or the mango leaves. Samsthapya Samvit Phalam. Now, having placed the mango leaves, you put a coconut on top, and in this case, it is very important because the feet of Parameshwara are the most valuable in this imagery, and we cannot allow the feet to go here and there. We have to keep it fixed to Manakumbha. The feet have to be fixed to the Manakumbha. How do you do that? You have to place a weight on top of that, and that is the coconut. What is the coconut in the case of Manakumbha? It is Samvit Jnana. Samvit means Jnana, supreme Jnana. The supreme Jnana of Parameshwara, what you have acquired all these days, that is the coconut with which you ensure that Parameshwara does not leave you. Then after all this, you are going to chant some mantras, isn't it? Veda mantras. Now here in this case, what mantras you are going to chant? Sattvam mantra mudirayanne. Sattvam means, in the context here, it means Shiva mantras. Sattvika mantras, Shiva mantras, like Shiva Panchakshara mantra, etc. You chant those mantras. Nija sharir agara shuddhim vahan. Agara means storehouse. The body is a storehouse of various sense organs, various organs of the body. So, Nija Sharira Agara Shuddhim Vahan. One's body, which is the storehouse of all these indriyas, that Sharira has to be purified. That is what happens here. Nija Sharira Agara Shuddhim Vahan. Sharira is already purified. How? Because Manakumbha is filled with Amrita. And then we have chanted Shiva Panchakshara mantra. So naturally the entire body gets purified. Nija Sharir Agara Shuddhim Vahan Punyaham Prakati Karomi. At the end of the Veda mantras, the priest says Punyaham, Punyaham. So here also I am saying Punyaham. I express Prakati Karomi. I express Punyaham. I express this is the day, this is the most auspicious day. What day, which day can be more auspicious than this? When Parameshwara has come and occupied in my mind, and I have made him sit with the help of jnana, and I have tied his presence with the help of bhakti, and he is sitting in a pot which is manas, which is filled with bliss. So you have bhakti, you have jnana, you have bliss. What more do you want? Everything is there, and Parameshwara himself is there. Punyaham prakati karomi. Naturally, I say this is the day, Punya day. This is the day, most auspicious day. Ruchiram kalyanam apadayan. When I say this, what happens? Ruchiram means enchanting, dear to my mind. That kind of auspiciousness, kalyanam apadayan, producing, generating that kind of auspiciousness. Naturally, with this background, you expect everything to become auspicious, isn't it? That is what is happening here. So this is the Punyaha Vachanam he is referring to with reference to the mind. The devotee prepares his Manakumbha, the part of his mind, which he is encircling with the threads of bhakti, and he is filling it with the waters of nectar of bliss. And then this Manakumbha is shining, it's very happy, it's very pleased. And O Parameshwara, with Uma Devi, I place your 2 twin feet on the top of this kumbha as mango leaves, and on the top of that I place the coconut of jnana. And then I chant Shiva mantras like Shiva Panchakshara mantra, and the entire body, which is the storehouse of indriyas and other organs, gets purified. And then I say, this is the day of auspiciousness for me. I say this openly, clearly. And In this bargain, I generate very enchanting auspiciousness that comes to me automatically. Bhakto bhakti gunavrite mudamrita purne prasanne manaha kumbhe sambhatavangri pallava yugam samsthapya samvitphalam tattvam mantra mudirayanne nija shariragara shuddhim vahanne punyaham prakatikaromi ruchiram kalyanamapadayenne.
आम्नायां बुधिम् आदरेण सुमनः सङ्घः समुद्यन्मनो मन्थानम् दृढभक्तिरज्जुसहितम् कृत्वा मथित्वा ततः सोमं कल्पतरुं सुपर्वसुरभिं चिन्तामणिं धीमतां नित्यानन्दसुधां निरन्तररमा सौभाग्यमातन्वते.
Now he is going to the imagery of Samudra Manthanam. We are all familiar with Samudra Manthanam. How Samudra Manthanam was performed by the Devas in order to get Amrita from the ocean of milk. Now, there they churned the ocean of milk. Here we are going to churn the mind. We are going to churn the mind. Amnayam Budhim. He's starting with the ocean. Which is the ocean here? Vedas are the ocean. With the help of the mind, we are churning the ocean of Vedas. Amnaya means Vedas. There it was the ocean of milk. Here it is the ocean of Vedas. Because from the ocean of Vedas only Parameshwara will emerge. Just as Amrita was emerging from the ocean of milk. Because the source of Parameshwara's knowledge, presence, his radiance is Vedas. So he says, Amnayam Budhim Adarena, with respect, with great regard, Sumanas Sangha. There it was the group of Devas. Sumanas means Devas. Sumanas Sangha. In this case, virtuous people. Virtuous people do this churning of the sagar of Vedas, Veda sagar. And what is the churning rod which they use? Samudyan Mano Manthanam. Manthanam is the churning rod. There they used Mandara mountain. Mandara mountain was the churning rod in the case of Samudra Manthanam. Here what is the churning rod? The manas, the mind. Samudyan Manaha. Samudyan means active. Samudyan actually means coming up, rising up. That means the churning rod goes up and down, isn't it, while doing the churning? Very agitatedly, very actively. So he is talking about that. Samudyan Mano Manthanam, because we are churning with the help of this manas, the Veda sagar, for getting darshan of Parameshwara. So the naturally mind is very keen, very agitated, very much worked up. That is why he is saying, Dhrida Bhakti Rajju Sahitam. There they use the Rajju, a rope. For churning you need a rope, isn't it? Churning rope. There they use the Vasuki, a serpent. Here what I am using. Dhrida Bhakti Rajju Sahitam, the rope of firm devotion. Kritva, Mathitva, Tataha. All this I made arrangements and then I went on churning. After churning, they got certain things from the milk ocean, like Amrita, etc., etc. Now, what did I get by this churning of Veda Sagar? Somam kalpatarum suparva surabhim chinta-manim dhimatam nityananda sudham nirantara rama saubhagya-matanvate. They got Soma, Chandra, they got Kalpataru, Kalpavriksha, they got Suparva Surabhi, the Kamadhenu which they took to Devaloka, Chintamani, they got Chintamani. They got all this. What did I get now? Soma means Parameshwara with Uma Devi is Somaha, we have seen before. So he himself has come. What more do you want? After doing this churning, he has come into my mind. Kalpatarum, Suparva, Surabhim, Chinta, Manim, all these are aspects of Parameshwara. You don't need all these separate objects. Once Parameshwara has come, all these follow him. All these are accompaniments to him, so they don't have to be separately mentioned. Dhimatam. For this, you must use your buddhi. Only for buddhiman this happens. Because you may, in the process, get tired and you may leave the churning. Just when this is what happened even with Samudra Manthan, we all know it. So many obstacles came. It was not obstacle free. In fact, that the Mandara mountain sank in the ocean. Then Mahavishnu came and helped to support in the form of a tortoise. He supported the Mandara mountain, the churning rod. Similarly, here also, it is the buddhi which will support the manomanthana. The churning rod of manas has to be supported, just as Mahavishnu supported as a tortoise at the bottom. Similarly, here you need the buddhi. That is, buddhi should not go here and there. You should have single-pointed concentration. Dhimatam, if you are doing like this, Nityananda Sudham. There they got Amrita, which they consumed. Here, what am I getting? I am getting the eternal bliss. What more I want? Then they have also got Mahalakshmi, Rama. They got Mahalakshmi when they churned the milk ocean, and they gave Mahalakshmi to Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu married her. And then Indra went and worshipped Mahalakshmi. Mahalakshmi came back to Swarga. She had left Swarga in a huff because of Durvasa's shapa. Now she came back. Now, all that is with reference to Samudra Manthanam. Now, in our case, Nirantara Rama Saubhagyam. Mahalakshmi is never Nirantara. She is always Chanchala. She always has a way of moving about from one place to another place. That is why Shastras prescribe a lot of rules for Mahalakshmi to stay at home. If you do A, B, C, D, then only Mahalakshmi will stay. If you do Shiva Puja, if you do Vishnu Puja, if you chant Vedas, if you follow the path of Dharma, then only Lakshmi will stay at your home. Otherwise, if you are impure, if you are unclean, if you commit sins, she will go away. Shastra says this. So she has a way of going away whenever there is a transgression of Dharma. So, but here, I don't have that problem. I have a Mahalakshmi who will always stay with me. Who is that? Moksha Lakshmi. Because with this, all this effort, I have attained Moksha Lakshmi herself. And she will never leave me. So, Nirantara Rama Saubhagya Matanvate, that good fortune which comes with Lakshmi. Lakshmi stands for good fortune. Here the good fortune is Moksha Lakshmi, which is eternal, which is there always with me. That comes to me. So, when I churn the ocean of Vedas with great respect, when virtuous people do it, with the accompaniment of virtuous people, which when I do it, and I use the turning rod of mind, very active mind, and I use the turning serpent in the case of milk ocean, it was the churning serpent. Now here what I am using instead of serpent, I am using Dhrida Bhakti, firm devotion. That is the rope. Rajju means rope. That is the rope which I use, and then I do the churning, and I get, they got Chandra, I got Parameshwara with Uma Devi, they got Kalpataru, Chintamani, Kamadhenu, etc. Whereas I am getting all this as accompaniments to Parameshwara. Whenever Parameshwara calls, they are there at his mercy. And all this happens only for those who use their intellect properly to support the mind, just as Mahavishnu came and supported the churning rod. And you get the Amrita they got the Amrita which they consumed, Devas, whereas I am getting the eternal bliss which is Amrita, and they got Mahalakshmi whom they handed over to Mahavishnu in marriage, whereas I am getting Moksha Lakshmi who will never leave me, Nirantara. That is my good fortune, and that I get. Amnayam budhim adarena samanas sanghas samudyan mano मन्थानं दृढभक्तिरज्जुसहितं कृत्वा मथित्वा ततः सोमं कल्पतरुं सुपर्वसुरभिं चिन्तामणिं धीमताम् नित्यानन्दसुधां निरन्तररमा सौभाग्यमातन्वते।
प्राक्पुण्याचलमार्गदर्शितसुधा मूर्तिः प्रसन्नः शिवः सोमः सद्गुणसेवितो मृगधरः पूर्णस्तमो मोचकः चेतः पुष्करलक्षितो भवति चेत् आनन्दपाथो निधिः प्रागल्भ्येन विजृम्भते सुमनसाम् वृत्तिस्तदा जायते.
Now here Shiva is compared to Chandra, the comparison with Chandra. So every phrase which he uses here applies to Chandra as well as Shiva. Prag Punyachala Marga Darshita Sudha Murti. Chandra is Sudha Murti. He represents Amritam because he gives out rays of Amrita, Amrita Kiranas. Now, because he gives out those Amrita Kiranas, we are getting all our vegetables, all our food grains fortified. Otherwise, they will be mere raw stuff without any fortification. And without fortification, you will not get the energy. The energy comes only because of the Amrita Kiranas of Chandra. In all these food grains, vegetables, etc., that we eat, in the night time, he sheds Amrita Kiranas on all these natural products, and that is why we are healthy. So, he is Sudha Murti. He is the very form of Amrita, because from his form comes Amrita rays. Now, where does he come up? Prag Punyachala Marga Darshita. He rises up in the Udayagiri. There is a mountain that is Punyachala. Naturally, where he is rising has to be Punya mountain. Marga Darshita. Then he comes up and he shows us that here he is showing us the Marga, the path of virtue he is showing. Prag Punyachala. Prag means high level of Punya in the case of Chandra. In the case of Parameshwara, Prag Punyachala, because Prag means earlier, I have accumulated a lot of Punya in various births to my account. So that is like a mountain. Because of that mountain, this Sudha Murti comes up, this Ananda Murti, Amrita Murti of Parameshwara comes up because of that Punya. Prasanna Shivaha. Shivaha means Mangalarupi, auspiciousness. That applies to both. Prasanna means he is very clear. Chandra Darshan, without any cloud obstructing, etc. He is very clear. Similarly, Shiva is pleased with us. Somaha. Somaha is Chandra in one case. Another is Parameshwara with Uma Devi. Sadguna Sevitaha. Parameshwara, it doesn't need to be mentioned that he is accompanied by, he is attended upon by Rudraganas who stand for virtue. So similarly, in the case of Chandra, he is attended upon by nakshatras. He has 27 nakshatras as his wives, and they are all virtuous wives. Sadguna Sevitaha, Mrigadharaha, Purnastamo Mochakaha, Mrigadharaha. Shiva holds deer in his left hand. Similarly, Chandra has a kalanka, has a blemish, which has a black blemish, dark blemish, which looks like deer. Mrigadharaha, Purnastamo Mochakaha. Chandra comes as a Purna Chandra. At least once in a month, he gives us darshan as a Purna, full, complete. Whereas Parameshwara is ever complete, ever Purna. Tamo Mochakaha, destroyer of darkness. When Chandra arises, immediately darkness is gone. Similarly, when Parameshwara arises in my mind, all darkness of ignorance is gone. Chetaha Pushkara Lakshitaha Bhavati. Chetaha, the mind, Pushkara Lakshitaha Bhavati. In the sky, Pushkara is sky. in the sky of the mind, Parameshwara becomes visible. Lakshitaha bhavati. He becomes visible in the sky of my mind. Similarly, in the case of Chandra, he is also visible in the sky. There the mind helps me to see, because it is the mind which makes me see Chandra. Otherwise, if I remain at home closing all my doors, I am not going to see Chandra, even if I appears in the sky. So there the mind is a helping instrument. Bhavati chet, if this happens, if he becomes visible, Ananda patho nidhihi pragalbhena vijrambhate. Immediately the Samudra of Ananda, Pathanidhi is ocean, Pathas waters, Pathanidhi ocean. The ocean of bliss comes up, Vijrambhate comes up, it manifests itself. How? Pragalbhyena, with great majesty, with great depth, with great impressiveness. That is how this ocean of bliss comes up when Parameshwara comes. Same with Chandra, when Chandra comes, everybody becomes very happy on seeing Chandra. So they become overcome with Ananda. So that is the majesty of Ananda. Sumanasam vrittis tada jayate. Then something happens. Tada jayate. What happens? Sumanasam vrittihi. Sumanas is flowers. Flowers are very happy on seeing Chandra. They bloom. They are very happy. Similarly, those with good minds, with virtuous minds, they become happy with Parameshwara rising in their mind. Vritti means the gati of the mind. Vritti is the gati of the mind, the track of the mind. So the flowers, vritti indicates the flowers, it is the growth. The flowers grow, bloom. In the case of mind, the mind becomes like a full-blown flower. It becomes very happy. So that is what happens when Parameshwara arises in the mind. So this is the comparison of Chandra with Parameshwara. Chandra is Sudha Murti. He rises in the Udayachala in the east, and whereas Parameshwara arises in my mind as a result of the accumulated punya which I have. Both stand for auspiciousness, and Chandra is very clear. Shiva is very pleased with me. Shiva comes along with Oma, and Chandra is Soma, and Chandra is attended upon by a group of virtuous nakshatras, whereas Parameshwara is attended upon by a group of virtuous Rudraganas. One holds deer, the other holds blemish, which looks like a deer. Both are Purna, both are full. One is filled with jnana and bliss, another is full in the case of a figure. And both are removers of darkness. One removes the darkness which is there in the night time, another removes the darkness of ignorance. And both appear in the sky of the mind. One appears in the sky of the mind as Parameshwara, another appears in the sky outside. With the help of the mind, he becomes visible to me. And if this happens, when this happens, the ocean of bliss manifests itself in all majesty, with all depth in my mind. And in the case of Chandra also, all the beings are extremely happy. And the flowers are very happy, they bloom on seeing Chandra. Similarly, virtuous minds become very happy. Prag punyachala margadarshita sudha murti prasanna shivaha soma sadguna sevito mrigadharaha purnastamo mochakaha cheta pushkara lakshito bhavati chedananda patho nidhihi pragalbhena vijrambhate sumanasam vrittistada jayate.
धर्मो मे चतुरङ्घ्रिकः सुचरितः पापं विनाशं गतम् कामक्रोधमदादयो विगलिताः कालाः सुखाविष्कृताः ज्ञानानन्दमहौषधिः सुफलिता कैवल्यनाथे सदा मान्ये मानसपुण्डरीकनगरे राजावतंसे स्थिते।
When a king is the Dharma Raja, what happens? Here, Shiva is the Dharma Raja who is sitting like a king in the kingdom of my mind. Then what happens? Dharmo me chaturanghrika sucharitaha. Dharma with all its four legs is sucharitaha, is in all its splendor. Dharma with all its four legs, it is all in all its splendor. What is the four legs? Dharma Devata is supposed to have four legs. Tapashaucham Daya Satyam. These are the four legs of Dharma Devata. Tapas, austerity. Shaucham, purity. Daya, compassion. Satyam, truth. These are the four legs of Dharma Devata. Now, in Krita Yuga, the Dharma Devata had all the four legs. And in the next Treta Yuga, one leg was gone, Tapas was gone. Then the next Dwapara Yuga, Tapaha and Shaucham, both were gone. And in the Kali Yuga, the fourth Yuga, Tapaha, Shaucham, Daya, all are gone. Only Satyam remained at the beginning of Kali Yuga. Now, as Kali Yuga progresses, we are seeing even Satyam is a casualty. Now, that is why in Srimad Bhagavatam, now Parikshit finds Dharma Devata struggling with one leg. This is how that story begins there. So this is the background of this. Dharma Devata is Nandi Bhagavan, the bull who carries Parameshwara on his back. Now, that means what? It is Dharma who carries Parameshwara. Parameshwara will not come where Adharma is prevalent. So, as soon as he has arrived in my mind, naturally with all the four legs, in all pushti, in all glory, my Dharma Devata is there. Dharmo me chaturandhrika sucharitaha papam vinasham gatam. All my sins have been destroyed, actually. Kama krodha madadayo vigalitaha. There are always enemies for a Raja, isn't it? When a Raja is there in his darbar, there are enemies surrounding him whom he has to keep at bay. Now this Parameshwara protects my mind from enemies who are Kama, Krodha, Mada, etc. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. These are the six enemies which are there always surrounding the mind, trying to enter into the mind. When they have already occupied our minds, but when Parameshwara comes, they have taken to their heels, they have gone out, but still you have to be protected. That is what Parameshwara does. They have all Vigalitaha, they have disappeared. Kala, Sukha, Vishkritaha. Kalaha, times. Why he is using plural? Because he is referring to six ritus, 6 seasons in a year. Because whenever there is a change of season, the body as well as the mind undergoes change. Shastra says, Ayurveda says, we all experience it. So that should not happen when Parameshwara is there. So whatever may be the change in Kala, we cannot change that. Kala will change, time will change, seasons will change. But when seasons change, all of them will be favorable to us. Sukha, Vishkritaha, very comfortable. Jnanananda Mahaushadhi Sufalita. When this happens, there is an Oshadhi which is growing, the tree of Jnana. Oshadhi is a tree. The tree of Jnana is bearing a fruit. What is the fruit which the tree bears? Jnanananda, the bliss of Jnana. I have been trying to cultivate Jnana all these days. Now that Jnana has come to fructification, resulting in Ananda. So that Jnanananda is the fruit, is the tree which has borne the fruit of Jnanananda. Tree itself is Jnanananda, the fruit is also Jnanananda. Jnanananda Mahaushadhi Sufalita, it has given me the fruit. Kaivalya Nathe Sada. Manye Manasa Pundarika Nagare Rajavatamse Sthite. All this happens when Parameshwara is occupying the throne in my mind. Kaivalyanatha is Parameshwara, the Lord of Kaivalya, Lord of Moksha. Kaivalya means Moksha. Kaivalya means state of being one, because Moksha, there are no multiples. There is only one, the state of one. Everything is one. There is no second. Everything is Parameshwara. There is nothing else. The world itself is a manifestation of Parameshwara. You and I are manifestations of Parameshwara. So there is nothing other than Parameshwara. So that is the state of Kaivalya. And he is the Lord of that. When he is present, Sada, always he is present without any time gap. Manye, he is most respected, most regarded. If he is present as a king, Raja Vatamse, Vatamsa is the crown, the ornament on the top of the head. So when the crown of Raja, the crown of my mind is the Raja. The crown of my mind is the Raja who is occupying the throne of my mind. Who is that? Parameshwara. What is the city in which he is seated in the throne? Manasa Pundarika Nagare. Pundarika means lotus. Mind lotus, the city of mind lotus. There is a city in which he is seated, and that is the mind lotus. The mind is always compared to lotus because lotus is something which is regarded as the purest in nature. That is why always Bhagavan's form is compared to lotus. Mukharavindam, Padaravindam, Kararavindam. All his parts are lotus. Similarly, the mind of yogis is always compared to lotus, you must have seen. Padma Hridaye, Yoginam Padma Hridaye. This kind of expression you find. So, now for them it is definitely lotus because lotus does not allow water to remain on its leaf. So yogi does not allow samsara to enter in his mind. Though he is living in the midst of samsara, he is doing all the activities of samsara, but his mind is always at the feet of Parameshwara. So that state I have attained now because I have purified my mind and Parameshwara is occupying the throne. So my mind is also a lotus now. That city is occupying the kingly throne. Rajavatam se sthite. He is seated there. So when he is seated there, Dharma with all four legs of Tapashaucham, Daya, Satyam, all the four legs is in all its glory. All sins have been destroyed. All enemies, Kama, Krodha, Mada, etc., are at bay, kept at bay. They have disappeared. And the times, the seasons are all very comfortable to me, though even though they keep changing. My mind does not change, though the season changes. And the tree of Jnanananda, which I had grown all along in my mind, has borne the fruit of Jnanananda. Now that Parameshwara has come, that fruit is there, which I am offering to him. And the Lord of Kaivalya, Lord of Moksha, Parameshwara, is seated there in a kingly throne. In the respected Parameshwara is seated in my throne, in my mind, which is lotus-like mind. In that city, he is seated in a throne. Dharmo me chaturanghrika sucharitaha papam vinasham gatam kama krodha madadayo vigalitaha kala sukha vishkritaha jnanananda mahaushadhi sufalita kaivalyanaathe sada manye manasa pundarika nagare rajavatam se sthite.
धीयन्त्रेण वचो घटेन कविता कुल्योपकुल्याक्रमैः आनीतैश्च सदाशिवस्य चरिताम्भोराशि दिव्यामृतैः हृत्केदारयुताश्च भक्तिकलमाः साफल्यमातन्वते दुर्भिक्षान् मम सेवकस्य भगवन् विश्वेश भीतिः कुतः.
Now, mind has been compared to various imageries. Now, mind is compared to a field in which a good crop is grown. Now, he is going to describe that. Now, when there is a field and you want a good crop to be grown, you need water to be irrigated in the field. And for that, you use a machine. Nowadays, we use a pump. In olden days, they used a hand machine which used to lift water, manual operated, manual lift. Now, that is the yantra. Dhi yantrena. In this case, what is the yantra which I am using for cultivating my mind? That is dhi, buddhi. Buddhi is the one which has to cultivate the mind. Buddhi should always tell the mind, do this, don't do this, etc. So that is the yantra. Vacho ghatena. This yantra has got a pot which carries the water and lifts it up and throws it in the field, isn't it? So what is the pot here? Vacho ghatena. The words are the pot. The words which I utter are the pot. Kavita kulyopakulya kramehi anitaishya. Then the water is thrown in the canals and sub-canals, branch canals. Kulya, upakulya. Kulya is canal, upakulya is the branch canal. Now, this water is thrown by this machine from the top into those canals. It's thrown at a high place and then it flows into various canals, isn't it? Now, what are these canals in the case of my mind? They are the kavita, the poetry. The poetry, the stotra is the canal and sub-canals. Kavita kulyopakulya kramaihi anitaishya. Water has been brought. Anitaishya means brought. Waters have been brought. Now, what is the water in our case, in the case of mind? We have not been told what is the water now. Sada Shivasya Charitam Bhorashi Divyamritaihi. The Charita of Sada Shiva is the water. The Leelas of Parameshwara are the water. Ambhorashi means ocean. It is like an ocean. Now, in the case of ordinary field, it is only a pot of water. Even if you bring 10 pots, it is not an ocean. But here, with the help of the pot of words and with the help of the machine of intellect, I have been able to irrigate the field with a complete ocean of Amrita. There it was water. Here it is divine Amrita, Divya Amritaihi. What is the divine Amrita which I have used for irrigating? That is Sadashiva's Leelas. That is the ocean. Hrit Kedara Yutascha. Now, what is the field in which all this is happening? Heart is the field. Kedara means field. Then, after all this, then we have to grow a crop. What is the crop? Bhakti kalamaha. Kalama is a kind of rice. Now, it can be any dhanya. That is not important for us. Some food grain. Bhakti kalamaha. What is the food grain which I am now cultivating? That is bhakti. Devotion is the food grain. Safalya matanvate. This I have achieved success. When the farmer sees a good growth of food grain crops in his field, he is extremely happy. His efforts have borne fruit. Similarly, my efforts have borne fruit in the form of bhakti. When I have cultivated bhakti after all this, so these are the means of cultivating bhakti. That is, you have to use your intellect to control your mind. You have to use your words only for chanting stotras of Parameshwara, and these stotras should relate to Sadashiva's Leelas so that it flows beautifully in the canals of your mind. That means it occupies the entire mind. From one Leela to another, you keep flying in your mind, and the heart is the place where all this is happening and where bhakti is developing. Bhakti has grown as a good crop. Then what happens? Durbhikshan mama sevakasya bhagavan vishvesha bhiti kutaha. Hey Bhagavan, hey Vishvesha, when you are present, when you have given me bhakti, you are present means you have granted me bhakti, the crop of bhakti. You are Bhagavan, all powerful. You have the entire universe at your command. You are yourself all powerful. You have the entire universe. Your resources come from entire universe. A very powerful person with extraordinary resources, when he is helping me, do I need anything else? Do I have to fear anything? From where I will fear? I am your servant. Mama sevakasya. I am your servant. So, from where I will fear durbhikshate mama bhiti kutaha. Why should I fear durbhiksha? Why should I fear drought? When I have beautiful food grain crop in my field, I am never going to suffer from hunger. I am never going to suffer from drought. So hunger and drought have been driven away. Similarly, all my inauspiciousness has been driven away by the cultivation of the crop of bhakti, the beautiful imagery of growing a crop in a field. Actually, this is mentioned in all our literature, bhakti literature, how you have to develop bhakti in your mind. It's very important. There is a great book called Panchadashi by Vidyaranya Swamigal. There he says, Tat Chantanam, Tat Kathanam, Anyonyam, Tat Prabodhanam, Etadeka Paratvancha, Brahmabhyasam Vidurbudhaha. This is Brahmabhyasa according to learned people. What is Brahmabhyasa? Brahma Abhyasa. That means again and again training the mind to have sakshatkara of Parabrahma. What is that? Tat Chintanam, Tat Kathanam. Always think of Parabrahma. Always speak about Parabrahma. Anyonyam Tat Prabodhanam. When you meet somebody, don't talk about worldly matters. Talk only about Parabrahma. Anyonyam Tat Prabodhanam. Etadeka Paratvancha. That is the supreme goal. Your mind is focused on only one supreme goal, that is Parabrahman. This is the way you have to train your mind. Brahma Abhyasam Vidurbudhaha. That is what we have been told here. Bhakti is mukti. He told us in an earlier shloka. So you don't crave for mukti. Mukti will come to you. First cultivate bhakti properly. So with the help of the machinery of intellect, with the help of the pot of words, and with the help of canals and sub-canals of poetry, I have brought waters which are the Leelas of Sadashiva, and I have brought it in the form of an ocean of divine nectar bliss. And my heart is the field where I have cultivated the crop of bhakti, the food grain crop of bhakti. And I have succeeded in this because of all these efforts which I mentioned now. Now I am gratified and I am your servant, O Bhagavan, O Vishweshwara. Since I am your servant, where is the fear for me from drought or hunger? Because I have got a good crop. When bhakti is there in my mind, because he is taking care of Yogakshema, there is nothing for me to worry about. Bhagavan means one who is all powerful. 6 attributes of Bhagavan. One who is having Bhaga is Bhagavan. One who is having Virya is Viryavan, like that. So what is Bhaga is defined. Aishwaryasya samagrasya dharmasya yashasasriyaha jnana vairagyayoschaiva shannam bhagayate rana. These 6 constitute Bhaga. Aishwaryasya samagrasya, entire Aishwarya, entire wealth in all the universes that he commands. Dharmasya, he is the very incarnation of Dharma, very form of Dharma. Yashas, his kirti is unparalleled. Nobody can compete with him in terms of fame. Dharmasya yashasa shriyaha, Shri, that is the glory of Mahalakshmi is always with him. If he gives all these to you, you will become arrogant. So he is also having another 2 things for giving to you. Jnana vairagyayoschaiva. He is giving you jnana as well as vairagya, dispassion. So once he gives you all the 6, you are a complete man. So these are bhagas, 6 bhagas, which he is having with him for giving to us. Shannam bhagayati rana. These 6 are called bhaga. That is why he is called Bhagavan. Bhagavan Vishwesha. He is the Ishvara of all the universe. धीयन्त्रेण वचो घटेन कविता कुल्योपकुल्याक्रमैः आनीतैश्च सदा शिवस्य चरितां भोराशि दिव्यामृतैः हृत्केदारयुताश्च भक्तिकलमाः साफल्यमातन्वते दुर्भिक्षान् मम सेवकस्य भगवन् विश्वेश भीतिः कुतः. Time is up, so we stop for the day, and if there are any questions, let us answer.
Yeah, there are no questions today.
No questions. Very nice. So we close for the day, and I wish you all the best. And please join me in this great, blissful Shiva experience tomorrow evening at 6:30 IST as usual. Namah Parvati Pataye Hara Hara Mahadeva.